going to be solving compound inequalities. How do we solve? First, I want you to select which ones you think have a conjunction of or. And if you looked at 8 and at 9, those are the ones that have the conjunction of or. What about 6, 7, and 10? Those have a conjunction of and that's the way and will be written. To solve an and is very easy. What you want to do is to isolate your variable in the middle of your inequalities. How do I isolate the x? How do I get rid of subtracting 3? I add 3. When you do a compound inequality, you have to not only add 3 to the middle, you have a left side and a right side. So you have to also add 3 in those places. 4 plus 3 is 7, less than x, less than or equal to 10. So that means I'm going to shade, I'm just going to put 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put an open circle on 7, because this is just a less than symbol, and a closed circle on 10. Open, closed. This is an and problem, so that means I shade in the middle. And is the intersection, and the intersection looks like a line segment. And then my final answer, what I'm going to circle is my final answer. So I'm going to read this number line from left to right and put my answer in interval notation. Where does my number line start being shaded? It starts at 7. It's an open circle. Where does it stop? It stops at 10. It's a closed circle. That's the final answer that I would like for you to give me. Now let's look at number 7. I hadn't said this yet, but I will now. Please notice that ands are less than symbols. But I have this colored as an and they're greater than symbols. It's because of this -5. They will become less than symbols in just a moment. So let me write number 7 over here. To isolate my g, I'm going to divide by -5. Remember, when you solve an inequality, if you divide by a negative, you flip your inequality over. 15 divided by -5 gives me -3. Greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to. -5g divided by -5 is positive g. -10 divided by -5 is positive 2. And I divided by a negative number, so I flip my inequality over. So this is correct. This is an and statement. These are less than symbols. I'm going to put that on the number line. Both of these are equal to, so I'm going to have solid circles. It's an and, so I shade in the middle or between them. And my interval notation, where does my number line start being shaded? It starts at -3 with a closed circle, so you put a bracket. It stops at +2 with the closed circle, so you put a bracket. So that's the answer I would be looking for. 8 and 9 are relatively easy because you just solve those inequalities separately. So I'm going to solve this one by subtracting 4. Z will be less than -2. I did not flip that over because I did not multiply or divide by negative. I'm going to put or. I'm going to divide by -3. Z is, I did divide by negative, so my less than becomes greater than. -27 divided by -3 is +9. Now I'm going to put 0 And I'm going to just go by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. I'm going to put open circles on both of those numbers. Open at -2. Open at +9. This is an OR, so it's two rays that are put together. So z is greater than 9. Definitely that z is greater than 9. Z is less than -2. Interval notation. Where does my number line start being shaded red? It starts at -infinity. Remember, infinity always, and negative infinity always gets a parenthesis. Where does it stop? It stops at -2 for a moment. So I put a parenthesis since it's an open circle. Union, it picks back up at 9. It's an open circle, so I put a parenthesis. And where does it stop? It stops at infinity. So that would be my interval notation for number 8. Number 9 is going to involve more than one step, so I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to subtract 6. I flipped the inequality because I divided by a negative number. Now I'm going to put those on a number line. I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put closed circles. Uh-oh, I messed up. Don't just add. Don't just make it equal to. I did. Don't do that. Is this one right? Yes. So that changes it. I'm going to have an open circle on 2 and a closed circle on 5. T is less than 2, greater than or equal to 5. Whoops. Interval notation. Where does that number line start being shaded black? It starts at -infinity. Always put a parenthesis. Where does it stop? It stops at 2 for a moment with an open circle. Union. Pick back up at 5. It's a solid circle, so you put a bracket. Where does it stop? Positive infinity. Final one. I'm going to distribute that 1/3. 1/3 times 6x would be 2x. It would be 6/3 x, which is 2x. 1/3 times 24 would be 24/3, which is 8. Both of those are equal to. I'm going to subtract 8 first from all parts of my problem. Minus 8 is 4. Divide by 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. Less than or equal to x. Less than or equal to 2. I'm going to put 0 and 2 on my number line. I am going to put closed circles on 0 and 2. It's and, so it's the intersection. Like a line segment, that's what I always think about and. And where does my number line start being read? It starts at 0 with a solid circle. Where does it stop? It stops at 2 with a solid circle. So hopefully you understand how to solve a compound inequality. If not, please reach out for help. A certain machine operates properly when the relative humidity satisfies the inequality that's given. Solve for h to find the range of values. Distribute. 100. Divide by 2. The range of values, the relative humidity has to be between 20 and 80 in order for the machine to operate properly. I hope you had a great week.